that video was.
I am Joshua Gunn. I know most of you. Faces look familiar, which makes me feel good to say that now. I've been here 2 years and know most of the folks in the room, so I'm getting there. Thrilled to see you all. This is an excellent group. This is a great opportunity for us to engage and break down some silos, and your Table Facilitatorship is a big piece of that, so we're grateful for your attending today. This really shows how much we care about making this great region even better, so can't thank you enough for joining us here today. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce my colleagues in the region, Leanne Brown, CEO of the Morton Chamber of Commerce and Morton Economic Development Council, and Audrey Cam, Vice President of the Peoria Chamber. And they will lead the rest of the training. Thanks.
Thanks, Joshua. So this is like my favorite part of the facilitator training, is going around the room and just seeing all the people in the room, and that just sets the tone, I think, for the big table and the energy that the day is going to have. Just by a show of hands, who participated in 2019 in the live event? Awesome. Okay, who participated in 2020 in the virtual event? Sweet. Oh, we have like lots of double hands. That's awesome. So, but what I noticed is that there's a lot of people who haven't participated in the big table. So we're going to do a little review very quickly. So what the big table is. The big table is a day of regional community building through conversations designed to strengthen and connect communities. Through open and thoughtful conversations that will focus on how we can strengthen our region, we will spark new relationships and new ways for working together by deepening our understanding of each other and what our region needs. And I think if you were there in 2019, that really embodied the big table. And I also think that it's a very unique experience that we want to bring back to have it in person. It was great that we could do it in 2020 virtual because we had to that way, but I'm very excited to bring it back and see the energy in the room. So since there were a lot of people who weren't there, I'm going to show this awesome recap video.
Welcome to the big table. The day has arrived for regional collaboration, and what an exciting day it will be. We are going to gather people from throughout our region to have collaborative conversations. We are going to start off the day with workforce and education, bringing in session leaders to set the tone of the conversation. Also, each table facilitator has key questions to really guide the conversation at each table to make sure that we're capturing a wide array of topics within each conversation. After the workforce and education, moving into quality of place and life. Then after lunch, we're going to jump into innovation and entrepreneurship. And then we're going to wrap up with diversity and inclusion. The day is here, so let's get after it.
The most exciting thing about the big table today is just seeing the diversity in the room, seeing so many different voices from the business community, from education, from community leaders, being able to talk about what the challenges are, but more importantly, talk about the solutions.
Never do we bring so many independent thoughts and so many people who are impacted from a number of different lenses all together in the same room to express their opinions. It really is only once we understand issues from all sides that you can move a region forward. So the big table is an amazing event where we can put all of the voices and opinions at the table and really start to make some regional progress.
To have someone that is a small business owner sit by a social service agency or a large employer and kind of have those open discussions gives you an understanding of how one possible solution can come in from different points of view.
You know what? I'm just super optimistic in general. I mean, us just being here today and having over 500-600 people take time out of their day to see value and coming to the table and voicing ideas and listening and wanting to be a part of the solution.
You know, I've never seen a group this size spending the time to re-educate themselves and to inform themselves about the cool stuff about going on in the Peoria area.
So one of the things I took away today that I was so not expecting was that entrepreneurship and innovation does not have to be large. You can start small, just start.
Our region is so diverse, there's so much to learn and see and do. And I think for people to spend the time today is just fantastic.
So I think this is the start of something great. I think Peoria's best days are ahead of us. I really do. And we just got to keep priming the pump and keep working at it.
The future is bright. The future is very bright in Peoria and in the larger region. So I feel like everyone is very motivated. Peoria is an altruistic city. This whole region is motivated around how we can take the best of what we have and apply it and make us one of the leaders in this country. So I'm really excited for what is happening in our region.
A great day, 4 jam-packed sessions, great community conversations on important topics for our region. Could not be happier with the turnout. We're going to take all the data we have, assemble it into a community report, and stay tuned for details on next steps at the big table.
I know, so now who's excited to be a table facilitator, right? Okay, so just a quick recap of where we've been. So that was October 15th, 2019. Of course, we had a wonderful press conference in the what will be the Distillery Labs building on February 18th, 2020. Lots of energy, big table report, passed out. And then February 2020, we also had the SEDS strategy team started meeting for the new Comprehensive Economic Development Plan. And they eventually landed it on calling the big table SEDS. After that, we kind of all know what happened. The world turned a little bit upside down. But never fear, the big table came back. And we did do, in June 2020, we kind of responded to what was going on in the world, and we did the Big Table Gather Around Justice panels. Those took place virtually. And then in October 2020, we did the whole Big Table event over 4 days, over lunch, virtually. Had collectively about 800 participants. More zip codes participated in that one than the first one. So we had lots of wins from that, even though it was a very different feeling event. And then February 2021, the Big Table Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy was officially adopted and approved by the EDA. So we've had a lot of strides, but also we know that a lot of things have shifted since 2019, and so we want to have this in-person event to be able to respond to all of that and take what we've learned and keep pushing that forward together. So it's an exciting time to be a part of the Big Table. Next, the table schedule. So you'll see up here, and hopefully you all know, I know Leanne and Kelly were checking you all in, checking to make sure which sessions you were planning on attending, which sessions you were planning on facilitating. This is the schedule for the day, and definitely encourage you all. It is free lunch with Bob Ross if you would like to stay for that. Not, like the artist Bob Ross, but his name does happen to be Bob Ross, which is confusing. So, this is our keynote speaker, Bob Ross. So I actually had the opportunity to hear him at a chamber conference, and as well as David has heard him at an economic development conference. So basically, since the last Big Table, we have launched the Greater Peoria 2030 Talent Attraction Initiative. And Bob Ross is spearheading their effort with talent attraction in Topeka. So they're like a few steps ahead of us. They have a very similar market to us. And so he's going to come and tell us about things that they have seen as success, that they've seen success in. And then we're going to use the quality of life and place session to be able to talk about, hey, is that something that we could do here? What kind of ideas do we have for moving that area forward in our region? And he is an awesome speaker, and it's very cool what they've done in Topeka. And so it's definitely worthwhile, and you get free lunch, and most of you will already be there anyways. So we'd love to see you there. And then just a quick breakdown of the session schedule. So the very beginning, there are going to be a panel of session leaders at the front. That takes about 10 to 15 minutes. It goes by real fast. They're going to give you basically a state of the topic at hand. So if you're on diversity and inclusion, they're going to give you a broad swath of what has happened in our region or what is happening in our region to kind of set you up for a conversation. And then you'll have 30 to 40 minutes at the table to discuss. So you'll be at a table similar to how you are right now, although way more spread out because, and it does work. This was one thing we were very nervous about the first time, but you can have a conversation within your table because the tables are super spread out in that huge room. And then you'll be leading that with, if you saw in the video, there was an easel with sticky notes that you'll be responsible for taking notes on. And then this time goes by fast. If you were in the first one or if you were in the virtual one, you know that you get into these conversations, people are excited, and then all of a sudden the time is over. So kind of just watch your time on that. Once that part starts, there is going to be a timer on the front. So it'll tell you exactly how much time you have left in the session, so you can kind of manage your time based on how many questions you have left. Or it is not mandatory to get through all the questions. You know, kind of just play it by ear where your table's going. And then the last 30 minutes of the session is going to be where the table facilitators can come up. You saw in the video, they were all bringing those sheets up to the front and lining up so that they could give this is very important, 30-second, it's a challenge, 30-second report out. Okay, so. How much time? 30 seconds. 30 seconds, yeah. So because this goes by so fast, the panel speakers and you all up there, probably Leanne and I will be sitting at the front with a little card that says, stop. So don't take offense, because we want to get to everybody. We want to get to everybody who's in the line. And you know, last time, it was great. It was super, but we probably had like 20 facilitators each time who couldn't report out. And we want to make sure that we hear those ideas. So also challenge is to be listening to what people are saying while you're waiting in the line, so that you don't just say like ditto that group, but like what do you have in 30 seconds that was unique to your conversation? And it could be a very unique story about, I think one of the things that everyone remembers is Dee Bonetta, who had the Bloom Where You're Planted line from the first one. You know, Bill Winkler got up there and talked about how she was in her group, and then she happened to get hired by Discover Peoria after that event. So, I mean, there's some cool stories that you might be able to just like parse out in a very short amount of time from your table. You don't have to go over everything that your table talked about, but what is something unique that you want to share with the full group that you think would be impactful? And then we also are going to still have those visual artists up there. So it's also important for them, because they're going to be kind of very quickly putting up art on the ideas that are talked about throughout the day, and those are going to be displayed around the room as well. So if people are coming in midday, if people are coming in later, they're going to be able to see just through visualizing the notes and the art up there what was talked about, and that's also a very cool thing. And then we'll have a little mini recap at the end that kind of transitions us to the next one, which again will be quick. There'll be about 10 to 15 minutes between each session. So I'm very excited. We have about 70 table facilitators. Just a few couldn't be here today, but thank you all for taking time tonight, because I know how valuable people's time is. But I think just with the big table and the kind of event that it is, with being in person, it's so important to have you guys together in a group just to kind of talk about how the day is going to be, and again, to see each other in the room before you start. It's just a cool thing. So thank you for coming here in person. And then we have about 300 people that are registered right now. We'd love to see that number go up. So if you guys know of people, I left some postcards on the table. Please help us recruit people to the event, because as you saw, it's a very cool thing. You have all those different people in the room from different lenses and different parts of the community and different parts of the region, and we want to see that again this year. So we'd love your help in that. And one last thing before I hand it over to Leanne. Where is Kelly Schneider? Kelly Schneider. Paige and Kelly Schneider. There she is. Okay, so, yeah. One thing that I think people don't realize about the big table is that this is a thing that has been done in other communities, but it is not a thing that hey, Kelly Schneider, come back. It is not a thing that like there's this playbook or there's this manual about how to do it. And we in Peoria have put our own unique spin on it. And the person that coordinates this event has a huge lift. And Kelly has taken this on this year. And so please give a round of applause. Yeah. It is a huge lift to do this event. So thank you, Kelly, and we are very excited for what is to come. Leanne's going to jump into some of the meat and potatoes of the facilitator duties.
Thank you, Audrey. Yeah, and definitely we are very fortunate here in our region to have regional collaboration. We hear this often. We hear it when we go out and meet with our peers of how much we collaborate and coordinate and innovate and partner together. And again, like Audrey said, what a powerhouse in this room I live by and share with others of show up and engage. And that's truly how we can move our region forward. So thank you again, first and foremost, for your time, your energy, your passion, for where you work, your neighbors, friends, church family, friends of really bringing more people to the table. I mean, this is what it's all about. Think about your holiday of connecting your family and friends around the table and sharing those conversations. So just a few more details to kind of paint the picture for that day. For your session, trying to arrive 30 minutes before, because we want to make sure we get you checked in, get the room kind of set again for the next session, and be prepared for all of our guests to arrive. As Audrey said, this goes by fast, of kind of the 30 minutes to capture all your conversations. A lot of people made like maybe top 10 okay, I got this top 10 to walk up and share, and maybe as people are saying things, you kind of cross that off and get down to your couple that you want to share when you get up to the mic would be great. Make sure, so in your packet here, kind of the second conversation guide, just gives you some information of keeping the conversation going. Really we want different viewpoints. Anytime that we get stuck in our businesses or organizations, you want just a little bit different lens or a little bit different viewpoint. And that's what we want to make sure we're capturing this day of these community conversations of a little bit different spin, a little bit different view, a little bit different background coming to the table to share what their perspective is on that topic. Certainly, as Audrey said, keep the conversation going. Some people get very passionate on a topic. One technique that I learned at a conference is to build on something. So maybe if the conversation stalls, yes and is a really good phrase to use instead of but. To use but word, challenges, putting up hurdles. We don't want that. Pie in the sky, big thinking is what we want this day. So that yes and is a really good tool to use to help people build on that conversation. If you can help us promote now, the day of and after of just your excitement that you're ready to engage, please show up and attend. There's a lot of information out there on social media that you can just reshare or send out to your networks. Just make sure that date is on everybody's radar. If you capture anything that day, a fun little selfie photo with your table is always fun. We're going to try and keep the table introductions really, really brief. Maybe a quick round table of name, what organization, company you're with, and then dive right into topic conversation. Also, we always like kind of those ideal stories to share. So, as Audrey pointed out, if you uncover, wow, this so-and-so story needs to be shared, you can just kind of jot that down, give it to anybody in blue shirts or anybody that kind of see is helping us organize, just flag that to them of, hey, I had somebody at my table, news media should really interview this person or capture more about their story would be great. And then reminder of your tables, we'll be saying this all day, but fill out the survey. We want to make sure that we make this day impactful, and the only way to learn and improve is to get that feedback. So make sure people fill out the survey. Again, most of you probably could add more to this slide, but just kind of some helpful tips of do's and don'ts for conversation guide. As we said, we really want to make sure this is all inclusive, that we're really trying to capture the key points from everybody. If somebody doesn't want to talk much, there's going to be note cards. They can capture their information in multiple ways. So just, again, I think that yes and is a really good tip there. So to help you prepare, some of us like to do a lot more research to really have, wow, I feel really equipped and ready, I'm on point, I know a lot about this topic, so if you don't feel like you're quite prepared, there is a lot of reading material. So You can check out all these different documents. Really, if you just go to thebigtablegp.com, all the links to all these resources are right there. You can dive in, read all of them, or specific to the topic that you're going to present. Social media tips. I'm definitely not the expert in this, but as I said, there's a lot of content out there. Really just sharing your excitement. I mean, I think we all know how social media works these days. The more people that are aggregating and liking and sharing and commenting. We do this regionally of trying to kind of blast out information, really elevate what we're trying to accomplish. So if you can just help us with that, like I said, now, day of, and even after would be ideal. So really the goal, I mean, throughout the entire day, we want to keep the excitement going up. We want it to be a very welcoming atmosphere. Make sure, you're really introducing yourself to people. That's what we heard. The biggest takeaway last time of our in-person is, I met somebody. I discovered something. I found something out. I learned something new. I met connections. So that's what we want this day to be. We all know this, that in anything that we do, it's relationships. So the goal of this day is to build those relationships, meet new people, and uncover innovative solutions to a lot of the challenges that aren't unique to us, but our solutions can be unique, and we can continue to elevate our entire region. Really understanding, community input, the data that can be used. A lot of this, like the SEDS, people can really take this information, informed decisions. Organizations can build their plan, their next steps, how they can truly activate their mission to solve problems. Businesses can do that. Entrepreneurs, this is a great way to activate entrepreneurs. We have a problem. Entrepreneurs come to the table with a solution. So the more that we can wrap that around people's minds of how to leverage this ongoing, it's not just about the big table day. Certainly we say this often, and this is the goal behind GP 2030. We need to share our story much better, louder, and prouder. So this is something that we can really elevate on a day like this of all the great things that are happening throughout our region and our businesses, people making innovations happening, and really paint that great picture. Certainly, we all know that art, video, those live video is always great to capture. And this will be a fun visual that we can use going forward. So as you're doing that report out, you're going to see them up there rapidly drawing to really capture that visual of all the great conversations. And really ultimately, as we do well and want to do much more of is regional collaboration. So thank you again for facilitators for helping us come together and collaborate. Yes.
Okay, so just a couple logistical things. Since many of you didn't do the big table in 2019 or 2020. The first is on the second page, the back page of your agenda, you'll see a draft version of the quality of life and place questions. These are still in draft form. We've met with almost all of our panels. I think we just have innovation entrepreneurship to meet with. So we've discussed, you'll see at the top, those are the session leaders for that panel, and then there'll be questions that can guide you. We'd love for you to at least ask a few of these, but if your discussion is going in a certain direction and you feel like it'd be best served if you kind of continue in that direction, that's fine. But these are just questions to kind of help guide your conversation and help guide your note-taking. But feel free to kind of deviate from those as you see fit, but stay within the topic, obviously. And then another thing is everybody is going to have those large sticky sheets at the table. You should all have 2 markers at every table. You may change tables throughout the day. So what is going to happen is all of our facilitators will have their own name tag that say facilitator on them. So you'll pick that up when you check in. We are going to do the name tags for the rest of the group a little bit differently. They will all have name tags, but last time we manually sorted people onto the name tags, the tables they were at. This year we're gonna do something a little bit differently where they draw a table number when they come, so for each session. So you won't know, your tables are gonna switch up no matter what. If you stay at the same table, that table's gonna get switched up for the next one if you're still facilitating, or you may be asked to move to a different table. It just kind of depends on how things hash out and how many we have for each one. So, but we'll communicate that all to you guys when you get to the event. And like it said on one of the slides, try to get there 30 minutes before your first session so that we can kind of have time to explain that to you and you're the first person at your table so that you can kind of make your table feel comfortable as people start to arrive. And I think that's it. If you guys, anybody have any questions? So you all will have black shirts. So all the facilitators will have these black shirts on, and then those of us that are on the regional collaborative that are putting this together will have blue shirts on. So if you need something like, I don't have any markers at my table, or find a person with a blue shirt. But yeah. Great. Well, we are excited for you all, and we're excited that y'all are here. If you think of something between now and the 20th, feel free to reach out, but thank y'all for coming and grab